WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Once again, I'm very surprised that this made it onto my show. I haven't found many videos all about this. The Glenmorangie The Elementa, aged 14 years, and also new charred oak cask finish. Yay! So, together with this the Accord, the 12-year-old. This was the 2020 travel retail new release here from Glenmorangie. So sorry, COVID happened and no one was at the airports anymore. And therefore, this has now landed, at least in my online shops over here in Germany. 43%, 14 years old, 65 euros. Whiskey base 139844. All right, just reading in the back here, it says here, our signature spirit distilled in Scotland's tallest stills, they are sometimes called the giraffes, is aged first in bourbon casks for smooth, fruity notes. Then we finish the single malt whiskey in new charred oak casks to create woody depth and intense spice, exclusively for the traveler's delight. Now, the very, very first time I read this, and many people also in Germany have written this, they thought it was virgin oak. And therefore, I actually picked out a virgin oak bottle from Auchentoshan to compare this to. After I started reading this and doing my German review, it's like, wait a second, it's not virgin oak. These are rejuvenated casks. All right, so very, very quickly, for those of you who are not aware of what happens, in America, we have bourbon casks. Bourbon casks have to be new, virgin, oak, white oak usually, and they're all then used once. What happens to the cask after it's used? Maybe, let's say, straight American bourbon is, I said American bourbon, not Kentucky on purpose, is maybe between 4 and 8 years on average. So let's say it's 6 years old, all right? So average. So after 6 years, you empty it out. It's Woodford Reserve, it's Wild Turkey, it's Jim Beam, it's, which one of the big ones? Heaven Hill, one of those big four probably. You empty it out, and the casks are then actually sent on a container. You can fit into a container, I think, 380 casks, if I remember correctly. And these casks then arrive on the ports, on the shores of Europe, either in Germany or Ireland or in Scotland, wherever you want to send them to. And then distillers take them and use them. Now, a first fill bourbon cask is a prized possession. We're paying about 100 euros for a prime first fill bourbon cask over here, bourbon barrel. In America, it costs about $100 to create it, and for some reason, it costs about 100 euros to get it over here. So they're almost making money on these casks, which is really interesting. And so we have the casks over here, and then it's used the very first time, a virgin oak cask, and first fill, no, sorry, virgin oak, and a first fill bourbon cask. Beautiful. If you take a look at Deanston, a lot of their stuff is first fill bourbon cask. Excellent. Expensive, nice, good things. You get great results with them. A cask is a little bit like a tea bag. Use the first time, wow, maybe too strong. Use the second time, maybe just right. Use the third time, well, not that much. Fourth, nothing left. Fifth, you get actually the bitterness from the tea leaves there. And that's what's happening over here in Europe. So a first fill bourbon cask might be used for maybe just for a finish at the beginning. So use it maybe for 2 years for a finish. And then the second time it's used over in Scotland, that you may use it for 12 years. And the third time it may be 14 years. And for the fourth time it may be then actually for 20 years. Who knows, all right? So an average life expectancy of a bourbon cask is somewhere between 60 and 80 years. And then there's made into flower pots or into chips for smokers or whatever. All right, now what they did here is totally different. They took a cask that had been used a couple of times, and what they did is they actually chiseled out all of that carbon, all of that char on that barrel. They used to take an iron brush and they would just really quickly do it. Now they have a little piece of metal and they just cut it off. All right, they have a little laser and they know exactly what they're doing. And then they actually re-char that cask in Scotland. And that's why it's called a rejuvenated, or in this case, a new charred oak cask finish. It's not a new oak cask. It's a new charred oak cask. That new is very important there. And so a rejuvenated cask. 14 years old, Glenmorangie. I very, very, very much like the Accord. I think it's weird that this is cheaper. Yes, it's 2 years younger. It's €5 cheaper, but sherry casks are much, much more expensive than a bourbon cask. Over here, we're paying up to €1,000 for a good bourbon cask, seasoned first fill. And for a first fill bourbon cask, we're running around 120 maybe euros. All right. So with transport, with everything, all the way to Scotland or Ireland or Germany. On the nose, oh, I'm not getting that much. It's a little bit of a sweet barley malt there. It's a little bit of a wood there. There's a little bit of a yellow plum in there. There's not that much going on, to be honest. That's not bad. I got a tiny little bit of pineapple. Okay, so you read the tasting notes. It says here, this whiskey brings a nose bursting with spiced toffee. Nope, don't get it. Milk chocolate. Nope, don't get it. Deep layers of vanilla. Nope, don't get it. A little bit of clove and orange. Ah, I did get the orange. The orange. I'm going to get the orange actually in the palate more than I did on the nose. All right, so let's try it. Oh, by the way, over here. Ah, I love the Auchentoshan Virgin Oak Batch 2. Very, very nice. That Virgin Oak really shines here. It's a very, very nice vanilla type of woodiness without any bitterness whatsoever. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It says here, marzipan, honeyed nougat, toasted vanilla, caramel, and then cotton candy is the official tasting notes of this. Don't disagree. Cheers. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit of alcohol that shines through more in the middle than I expected. And towards the end, there's a little bit of a woody type of bitterness I just don't like. There is a sweetness from the very beginning. That malt sweetness comes through. There's a shininess of a orange peel in here. There's a little bit of that yellow plum that comes through. It's not an overly shouty type of whiskey. I've had whiskeys that are so loud, it's almost distorted. This is a subtle whiskey. This is almost, to be honest, I wish I had the Glenmorangie 10-year-old here. It's actually empty at the moment. I need to buy a new one. It feels and tastes like the Glenmorangie with a little bit more of a spice at the end. Now, I can get the Glenmorangie over here for a third of this. Now, it's a 0.7 liter bottle, but still, why? Yeah, it's 14 years old. Okay, instead of 10 years old. Yes, they're new charred oak in here, but still, I really don't understand the politics here at all. It says here on the back, what was it here? Followed by tastes of dark ginger. Maybe that's what I don't like. Chocolate and spicy baked peaches. I don't get the peaches. I'm sorry. I got the plum. Before a sweet and lingering finish. I do admit that the finish is fairly long. Glenmorangie does a great, great job of that. Bill Lumsden, I hope you pronounce your name right. You do have a great, great palate here, the great finish. It actually does this. Goes down and comes back up, actually. The finish is better than... the short finish is bad, and the long finish, I'm going to call it those two things here, the long finish is actually fairly okay. This is a C- whiskey for me. I don't know why I should buy it. It's C- to C. I would rather have the Glenmorangie. I do not know why I'm going to pay €65 for this big bottle. I could buy the little bottle for 24, 23 euros. Value for money, D. If you're looking for something that's very, very nice, I do love the Accord. The 12-year-old with a sherry. I'm a sherry head, apparently. This is, and it had a good dark chocolatey mocha moment at the end. It surprised me. It really shocked me almost at the beginning, but I do like it. This is a little bit of a typical non-exciting whiskey. Can I say non-exciting? It just doesn't do anything for me. It's just like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. And then for 65 euros, no. Sorry. Over here, on the contrary, are Auchentoshan and Virgin Oak Batch 2. Cleansing the palate. I forgot to mention 46% as well. About 80 euros over here at the moment, so fairly expensive compared to this. Oh yeah, you take that nice moment, you add that oak to it. That's my question of the day. What other expressions do you know that have either a virgin oak finish from single malt Scotch whisky, is what I'm talking about, or rejuvenated new charred oak? I'm not the expert yet. I really don't know what type of bottlings are out there, or bottlings are out there that have new charred oak, rejuvenated oak, virgin oak as a finish. That's something I would really like to know. Maybe some actually bottlings are matured entirely in rejuvenated casks. I know Loch Lomond does something like that. I've had a Ben Riach that's been a virgin oak, either, I think it was a finish as well. I have the Auchentoshan here. Please write down a couple more examples. Help me expand my knowledge, my horizon about the different single malts that use rejuvenated, a new charred oak here. And I'm going to be very, very thankful to you. Not my cup of tea, not bad. As I said, a C minus. A, why haven't you bought it? B, buy it. C, you can buy it if you want to. D, you don't need to buy it. F, why was it even made? So this is something you could buy. You're not going to be disappointed that much with it, but you're probably not going to be that excited about it either. I think there's many other whiskeys you should rather spend your money on, to be honest. All right, thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, tell others. Also be so kind and share this video, maybe on a social media platform, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you do. That would help to actually help me to reach more people here. WhiskyJason, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Thank you very much for watching. All the best. See you soon. Bye-bye.